Good afternoon, everyone. Hello. I have some former students up here in the front. We are Decatur proud to welcome you to the MSD of Decatur Township and to our friends from the Indiana Department of Education, the Mind Trust, media, and Blue Academy students and staff, Gold Academy staff that is here as well. It's our pleasure to have you here, and we're very excited. My name is Emily LeMay, and I'm the Director of Student and Family Engagement here in Decatur Township. And we have a couple of teachers here, Mrs. Clark, Mrs. Jackway, and students. Welcome. Thank you for joining us here at the end of your day. Have you had a great day at school? Yeah. Awesome. Well, very good. Well, hopefully this tops off your day. I know you had pictures today. You're all looking very wonderful. So I just want to review a few expectations. Remember, when an adult's at the microphone, like I am right now, you're on a level 0. You guys know that. You've got it down. You're doing a great job. And then it's okay to be excited when our special guests are up here talking and making special announcements. It's okay to clap to show your appreciation. Yeah, perfect. Perfect example. All right. And then at the conclusion of the program, I will dismiss you so you can be on time to your bus or your car to get home today. So it is now my privilege, and we are so Decatur proud, to introduce our Indiana State Secretary of Education. Please help me to welcome Dr. Katie Jenner.
Well, thank you, Emily, and it is so great to be here today. Decatur Township Schools, and specifically, I didn't know it was Picture Day. That is a really big day at schools. For us up here, show me the smile you gave the camera today. Very, very good. Yeah, I'm sure you'll love that photograph when you get it back. So good to be here in Decatur Township. And last week we announced the largest financial investment in literacy in the history of Indiana, with tremendous support from the Lilly Endowment. This combined $111 million investment is intentionally focused on providing support, tools, and resources for our educators who teach reading, really providing an increased focus on the science of reading to make sure all of our children can read by the end of 3rd grade. And as we know, student learning really takes off when we have our schools and educators, as well as our parents and our families working together to do everything we can to support you. So again, while last week we announced a major investment in our teachers, this week we are announcing an investment in our parents and our families of students who need the most support. We know that day in and day out, our schools provide remediation, interventions, enrichment, supporting our students all day long. And we also know that many of our students need additional support outside of school hours. And in some cases, these school tutoring opportunities, these after-school tutoring opportunities, are just to catch up. And while some parents and families are able to afford that tutoring expense right out of their pocket, many of our parents and families who know their child needs additional support, additional tutoring to help them learn and grow and be their best student, they might not be able to afford that cost. And we hear that a lot. So the opportunity we're announcing today will provide parents and families of 4th and 5th grade students who qualify for free and reduced lunch and who are also struggling academically in English language arts and mathematics, to have the opportunity to have up to $1,000 for a parent or family to support high dosage tutoring outside of school hours. And at the same time, we know, and we have teachers in the room today, that many of our teachers, current and even our retired teachers, stay after school and do everything they can to provide support to our students. And with this investment, our teachers will have the opportunity to be compensated for this additional targeted support. So, what does this mean for our students? And let me just get real on this for a minute. This morning, I spoke with a school principal in rural Indiana. Do you know what rural means? Who knows? Rural. Vocabulary word, bonus points. Do you know? Okay, that's all right. So rural Indiana is more like the country. So we're in the city, we're in urban Indiana. Rural is, if you imagine, not as many people, a lot of farmland in Indiana. And I say that specifically for rural Indiana because this will benefit both urban, suburban, and rural Indiana parents. But this morning was speaking with a school principal in rural Indiana who shared a story that I think really embodies the impact we hope to see across the state as a result of this initiative. The principal shared, and try to get this in your mind, she had one student in particular who was really struggling. 2 to 3 grade levels behind. Teachers will understand what that means. And the student was very outgoing, but the student didn't really love school at all because the student was behind. And he had received primarily virtual learning during the pandemic, causing further learning and growth delays. And this school utilized some of their federal funding to compensate, to pay for some of their top teachers to provide high dosage tutoring after school for an hour and 15 minutes, just for a few short weeks. And just in that small amount of time, that student made great gains. And his parents expressed, and I quote, he felt successful for the first time in a long time. And that's what this is all about. Teachers, schools, in partnership with parents and families to do everything we can to support you, our students. This micro grant for parents will ensure more Hoosier students have access to tutoring support, regardless of their ability to pay, and ultimately access to high quality educational opportunities, which we know matter to your lifelong success. And while I'm about to introduce Representative Bob Behning, so you're on deck, I do want to quickly give a thank you to a few people. Alicia Gatewood, I almost called you doctor. She's finishing up her doctorate very soon. None of this is possible without a team. And that team is internal in the department, and it's very, very much external. Alicia is leading this work for our team with Dr. Charity Flores, our Chief Academic Officer. They are senior leaders, and they've really led this work forward and can't thank them enough. I also want to specifically thank CEO of the Mind Trust, Brandon Brown, and his team. Shauna Murphy, who you'll meet shortly, is going to be the Senior Director of Indiana Learns, which is what this initiative is called. And with any new initiative, there's always a lot of brainstorming, back and forth, and how could we make this the most successful? And it takes a lot of thought leadership, and we really appreciate, again, the Mind Trust team. We also greatly appreciate another person you'll hear from today, who is Dr. Todd Bess. Dr. Todd Bess is Executive Director of the Indiana Association of School Principals. And one thing we know is we as a state can share this information, and we will, but the key connectors are always people at the local level, our teachers and our principals, who know you as a student and know our families and can make that connection. And Dr. Todd Bess with the Principals Association has leaned in and provided excellent thought leadership as well. We'll also hear from the superintendent of Decatur Township, Dr. Matt Prusiecki. We'll hear from the Indianapolis Public Schools Superintendent, Dr. Alicia Johnson. And we'll hear from the CEO of Muncie Community Schools, Dr. Kwiatkowski. So again, while these are urban school leaders in some of our really important cities in Indiana, this is for all schools across the state. On that note, I'd like to introduce Representative Bob Behning and invite him to the podium. Thank you very much.
Thank you to Secretary Jenner, and thank you as well for all of you being here. Welcome to House District 91. This is district I represent, so we're very pleased that all of you came. We have students, some school board members are here, the educators, as well as school leaders. We welcome you to 91st House District. Now, and Secretary Jenner, the one reason why they may not understand rural is because you talk about farmland, and we have farmland right across the street. It's actually the Richard Lugar Farm, which has, I believe this building at one point in time had his name associated with it. So welcome. We apologize that the state didn't have the bridge done because those of you coming from the north, it's kind of difficult to get here. So apologize for that. It's an exciting day for me as a chair of House Education Committee. This is something that I went to Secretary Jenner probably last fall talking about priorities and how reading, I know, you know, teachers in the room know, your parents all know that reading is a foundation for learning everything. If you can't read, you're going to struggle the rest of your life. So we went to Secretary Jenner's office and said, how can we create a program that's going to be revealed, well, that she shared with you, or have more people talk about it later, that provides high-dosage tutoring to kids who most need reading. Clearly, what happened with COVID just exacerbated the problems we had with reading. We already knew we had problems. Science of reading is something I think we have kind of lost our way a little bit. We've gone to blended literacy, which doesn't make a lot of sense to you guys probably, but to the teachers in the room, it does. We've kind of lost our way, and we really needed to redouble efforts. But COVID just made things even worse. So fortunately, the General Assembly actually not this past session before last, put $150 million into learning loss that the department has been working on. Some of that's been focused on reading as well. Our state test scores are reflective of the fact that we do have struggles. We know that 1 in 5 students, third graders, cannot pass iRead, which is a foundational test that we use to determine where you are as far as reading. We know that iLearn, only about 41% of our students, third and fourth graders, can pass iLearn, which I'm sure you guys love taking iLearn. I'm sure that's something you look forward to every year. And there's NAEP scores, which is the National Assessment for Education Progress, which is called the nation's test. Kind of reflects the same thing, that Indiana is not alone. The country is struggling as well. So there's clearly a lot of importance with developing foundational math and reading scores, and the impact that this program can have, where we are providing funds directly to your parents to get you tutors to be able to help you get where you need to be as far as reading is concerned, is, I think, unbelievable. And I really want to thank the Mind Trust for taking the leadership on this. Like I said, I cannot tell you how much appreciate what the department's done, because this is actually federal money that they've agreed to pull together and put together in such a way. And then the General Assembly is very excited as well. This was something that was very popular in the General Assembly, and something that we're really focused on. Over 50% of the state's budget every year is spent on education. So it is a priority, and we want to continue to focus on that. With that, I would like to introduce Dr. Todd Bess, who's Executive Director of the Indiana Association of School Principals. Todd?
Afternoon, everybody. Kids, you're doing a great job. Hang in there, okay? Do that little bitty stretch of your arms or something like that to keep the energy going, but you're doing a great job. It's my sincere pleasure to join you here today, joining our state and our local district leaders. Dr. Jenner, thank you for your leadership of our K-12 schools. Thank you, Representative Behning, for championing student learning through this program. And to the Mind Trust, thank you for helping oversee this program and bringing the funds to our parents and our kids. As the Executive Director for the Indiana Association of School Principals, clearly the Indiana Learns grant program directly impacts our kids that attend our schools. We appreciate the strong financial commitment that was made by our General Assembly through House Enrolled Act 1251. And just as importantly, we appreciate that our state legislators recognize how we as a state must continue to focus on student learning that was missed due to the pandemic. Learning gaps that already existed were only made worse by the pandemic, and especially for our students that didn't have the necessary resources to supplement their learning. The Indiana Learns grant program gives our students the opportunity to use financial resources and seek tutoring targeted at specific content so that mastery of a subject can occur, and then that student can continue their educational journey. As the money is activated through the families registering for the program, this further strengthens the bond that a family and the parents have with their students, and that's a fantastic thing. I am both hopeful and confident that our school leaders, our principals and our superintendents and every school leader will share this unique opportunity with our parents. And I'm hopeful and confident that our school corporations will commit to matching funds from their own federal dollars to this program that will allow additional dollars to be unlocked and then be accessed by the parents to support your learning. We also see this as an opportunity for our local community organizations to be involved with supporting our students and families. And then we may see our current and former educators step up and step forward to be involved in the tutoring programs. Mastery of language arts skills is really hard. It's really hard. And who better to assist our students with strong instructional practices that can create a bridge between where the kids are today and where we know we need them to be, where we know we need you to be in the next few years, so that you can, again, continue to be a strong student and you can graduate from high school. And then you can go on and be successful after that. Again, we want to thank Representative Behning for authoring the bill and our 2022 General Assembly for passing this bill that brings valuable resources to our parents and our kids. Kids, we're going to help you here, and we appreciate your time here today. So it's now my pleasure to introduce your superintendent, who you know very well, but Dr. Matt Prusiecki. If he'll come in, we had the opportunity to actually teach together long ago, and I'm privileged that he's a colleague here in Indianapolis. Dr. Prusiecki.
All right. How we doing? Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of MSD of Decatur Township, Judy Collins, one of our school board members here, is present to support us, but I would like to go ahead and share that we are both humble and honored to be able to host this event today. Dr. Jenner, thank you for your opening remarks. Representative Behning and Dr. Bess for really kicking everything off and really saying everything that was going to be said. However, I do want to add from a lens as a superintendent. We talk about in Decatur Township that our vision's to preparing students to be tomorrow ready. And when we think of that, one of the biggest things, of course, is literacy skills, but also numeracy skills. And when we talk about the summer school support that we've done in collaboration with United Way and the Mind Trust, and as we look at continuing our extended day programs after school, Indiana Learns program, this grant really fits perfectly as far as support, the aid and assist that we'll provide our students outside of the school day. One of the great things about this program is that it's not put on the shoulders of our school system. It's not put on the shoulders of a school corporation, but really with a minimal match. When we look at the dollars, there's $500 for every student that's involved. if a school corporation wants to add a $250 of their own dollars, there'll be an additional $250 to where $1,000 per student can be used to support after-school program. I think this is tremendous that we're able to put this in place, and that we will greatly expand this initiative here in Decatur Township, because when we talk about the great things here, and so well behaved that you are right now as you're locked in, that we always profess that we are student invested and community connected. So with that, stronger together, well, this Indiana grants, and actually specifically, I'd like to go ahead and state that IndianaLearns.org, not Indiana Grants, IndianaLearns.org is the location to look up, and I really encourage all of our colleagues, as I'll be followed, the investment throughout every school corporation, that this is a statewide initiative where we can really push through and recover from a pandemic, not only from a health standpoint, but from the growth, learning, and as I said at the beginning of my speech, preparing students to be tomorrow ready. So with that, all of you in front of me, thank you for being here today. Thank you for contributing, and when Mrs. LeMay mentioned the right time to clap, I'd like you to go ahead and clap that IndianaLearns.org is the thing that we're looking for. So with that, I'd like to go ahead and pass the microphone to my esteemed colleague, the Superintendent of Indianapolis Public Schools, Dr. Alicia Johnson. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Prusiecki. It's great to be here, young people. You are representing Decatur Township quite well, so good job hanging there. There's like 2 more of us, okay? We're almost there. All right. It's always exciting to be here and to have the honor to be a part of these initiatives that have been so boldly funded by our legislators, thank you, and supported by the Indiana Department of Education, thank you. And this is what Indiana Learns is really about. So when I was asked if Indianapolis Public Schools would like to be a matching district, my answer was yes. And in fact, we've already earmarked dollars waiting for this announcement. Why that is because we know research shows us over and over again that tutoring is a viable and effective method to combat learning loss and educational inequities. Like every other school district in the nation, the pandemic disrupted the everyday in-person learning that we know our young people had come to be accustomed to. And like every other school district in the nation, we're working incredibly hard to make up for some of that lost time. Our district has used some of our federal dollars already to launch an internal district-wide tutoring program, which has helped us to achieve back to our pre-pandemic or near those pre-pandemic numbers, but we aren't where we need to be or want to be, which means there's more work to do with our young people. And Indiana Learns will help us do just that. So as a member district of Indiana Learns, IPS will proudly provide a matching grant to all eligible students in our district, bringing that total available to $1,000 per eligible IPS student. It's a commitment that we're making to our students, and one I encourage, as Dr. Prusiecki did, all of our districts across Indiana to make for their students as well. As a former middle school teacher, we know very well as teachers what happens when our students get additional supports outside of the classroom to help them really move their progress forward, and Indiana Learns will do just that. So again, thank you, Dr. Jenner, for your work, to the Mind Trust team for administering the grant, for the General Assembly for the vision to make these dollars available, and to all of my colleagues, let's get on board and let's make sure we're supporting Indiana Learns. Thank you. And now I'm pleased to introduce my esteemed colleague, Dr. Kwiatkowski of Muncie Schools.
Well, students, you started with a smile. I think I need another one from you before I begin. Let's see that school day smile. Thank you. I'd like to thank Dr. Jenner and Representative Behning for allowing me to be part of this exciting announcement. Muncie is a very tight-knit community where people have a heart for serving and coming together for a cause, especially for our students. Muncie Community Schools has a unique partnership with Ball State University. We have adopted a cradle-to-career approach, which includes support from numerous outside groups, which help us provide the best experience possible for our students. We believe that we are better together. Muncie has a wonderful high ability program, a thriving dual language immersion program, and an early college program that is being used as a model across the state. However, we still have our share of challenges, especially with our at-risk learners. Last year, we were able to partner with Marian University to implement City Connects, a program that empowers family navigators to examine the situation of each and every student in that family navigator school to see what may be hindering the child's academic success. The family navigator then calls on resources inside and outside of the school to overcome these obstacles. While the program is still in its infancy, we already can see some positive benefits for our students. And I believe that we're going to see the same kind of effect in this program from Indiana Learns. For every qualifying student to have an opportunity for one-on-one or small group tutoring after regular school hours is a huge benefit. And not just for that student, but for other students in the class as well. That's why we were quick to provide the matching $250 grant in order to maximize resources for our most vulnerable students. While Muncie is on the rise as a city, the challenges remain formidable. We're a Title I district where several of our families are still struggling to make things work. And the pandemic only made things worse these past few years. We've heard that multiple times today. Many students struggled to adapt to online learning or simply didn't have the ability to stay on pace for whatever the reason may be. We see this program as another great opportunity to turn that around. Thank you to our legislators, the Indiana Department of Education, and the Mind Trust for making this program possible. For our parents back in Muncie, we look forward to seeing your applications for these services in order to give your children the additional resources what they need to get back on track. It's going to require some effort and some persistence, but we know it's going to be well worth it. And to my other colleagues in the other school districts, I highly encourage you to also participate in this wonderful opportunity with Indiana Learns. I would now like to introduce and welcome Seana Murphy up to the podium. Thank you.
Wow, well, good afternoon. I was thinking I would try to do this by memory, but I'm a little older than you guys. But before I do my comments, I do want to say that I really have nothing but admiration for the teachers and caring adults that are in your lives. And I have admiration for you guys too, because you guys have managed to wiggle but stay in your designated space. And that takes some effort and good job. So my name is Seana Murphy, and I am the Senior Director for Indiana Learns. And I have the opportunity, for one, to again say how exciting it is to build a bridge between our families, our schools, and our high-quality providers to make sure that we're making the most of the funds available to invest in our students. Before I go any further, can we give a round of applause for everyone who worked behind here? I just came here. So there was a lot of work done before I stepped into the arena, and all the people behind me are responsible for that work, as well as some that are sitting behind you. Just to give you an overview of the program and some of the pragmatics. In order to be eligible for the program, a student will qualify for free and reduced price lunch, and they will have also scored in the lowest performance category below proficiency on both mathematics and English/language arts tests as on the iLearn as 3rd and 4th graders. Students who meet this will have an opportunity to leverage at least $500, but if the school corporations and school districts that are out here watching heed the call of their colleagues, we can extend that funding to $1,000. Our task is to make sure that once those decisions are made, and your parents step in and make application for the program, our challenge is to make sure that you have access to high-quality, high-dose tutoring. which may or may not mean a lot to you, but what that means for us is that we are going to make sure that we bring the best to the table so that you are receiving the best, because we're confident that you're going to do your best, right? Yeah, I'm gonna ask you again, right? Yeah. Okay, great. So just to reiterate a few other things, our high quality vendors will have to agree to certain things, again, because we're bringing our best. So it will be a low student to teacher ratio, 1-to-3 ratio. We will make sure that the cost is actually worth. So a friend of mine says that we will make sure that the juice is worth the squeeze, and that we're going to pay top dollar to get high quality. And by top dollar, before anyone has a heart attack, no more than $100 per hour. But we are requiring that they tell us exactly what we're getting for that money. So again, high quality instruction is the priority. And there are some other requirements that we have listed out on our website, and would direct people to see that. But we want to put a call out to those who believe that they can be high quality providers, learning partners with us in this journey, to go to our website at indianalearns.org and look at all the requirements. And please come with your A game, because we are bringing that to our students, because in return, what are you guys going to do? Score well, right? Yeah, A game equals A's, right? You see what I did there? There was math and English language arts right in that. A plus A equals A, right? Right. And that's 3 numbers. Wow, look at that. So again, we have a team that's in place, and we are ready to move this program forward, and we're looking forward to the partnerships and the match from the schools. Thank you.
All right, thank you everyone for joining us today. This is going to be a wonderful program for our Decatur Township students and other students across the state as well. At this time, boys and girls, I'm here to dismiss you. So when your teachers are ready, I know your principal, Mr. Allen, may have something to say about what a great job you've done today.
Thank you guys very much. You were awesome. Very Decatur.
All right. Let's give them a round of applause and let them exit first. And then to the rest of our guests, I believe we'll be having some interview opportunities off camera, as well as picture opportunities right after the students leave. Thank you.